And I am live. And I'm dealing with a little bit of camera flickering, which happens sometimes. Seems to stop flickering now. Today I will be covering a video from the Heretic Lawson. He's got a big church. He's got 85,800 subscribers on his YouTube channel called Zion 4131. C, not the C, not the third letter of the alphabet, but C as in sorrow. Zion 4131 is the YouTube channel this video is on. And the title of the sermon is Lord, Remember Me. And then in the title we have Pastor Charles Lawson within parentheses. And this guy is going to stand up in a church and is going to lie to people because he's a heretic and people like to be lied to. If you're a liar, if you want to get popular and big on YouTube, what you do is you become some kind of a liar. You compromise on the truth. You teach people lies, or you teach people substandard truths, or you teach most of the truth and then you teach them lies about politics. You can find a lot of Christians on YouTube now who teach decently okay about, mostly right about the Bible, but they will be ignorant about some important things about this world we live in. They will still trust in politics, which frustrates me. They still have it. A lot of Christians today, they're still duped by Satan. They're still duped by Satan's media, and they're still in deception, and they're still deceived enough to be trusting in politics. They keep falling for the same stupid manipulation tactics of the New World Order that want people to trust in the political system or the medical system. And it frustrates me. And that's why I have a YouTube channel where I don't compromise with the truth, where I give people the full truth, not only truth about the Bible. And then I teach people lies about trust Trump, Trump's going to fix everything. Like that movie Idiocracy. He's going to build the wall. Listen, wake up, grow up, stop being like a little child and trust in Santa Claus. And most Christians today haven't even woken up to the fact that 9/11 was an inside job. They supported, a lot of Christian conservatives in America supported the invasion of Iraq and Afghanistan, which means they have blood on their hands. It's no better than somebody supporting abortion. It's no better than somebody standing up and supporting abortion as a Christian, which is murdering people. You're no better if you're supporting an unjust war invasion of Iraq and Afghanistan that the New World Order, the satanic New World Order, decided to launch an occupation war against Iraq and Afghanistan based on lies that you believed, Christian, based on lies that Al-Qaeda attacked our country, they blew up the towers, and you're dumb enough to believe it because the conditioning has taken on most people. The conditioning, the brainwashing of society has taken very well on most people. Now, what's wrong with people? Why did I wake up before I was 20 years old? I see people who are 40, 50, 60 years old on YouTube who are Christians who haven't woken up to some things I woke up to before I was 20 years old. Like media lying to you, politics being rigged, that it doesn't matter who you vote for. That 9/11 was an inside job by the Satanic Power League. That they made 9/11 happen. And it's frustrating. It's frustrating. People who are older than me should know, they should have more competence and knowledge than me, including about the world we live in. And I'm frustrated, so I got to fill the gap because there's so many people out there who are teaching you substandard truths and partial truths, a little bit of truth about the Bible, but still lies about the political system and other things. Then somebody like me has to come on YouTube and do what they're not doing, to fill the gap, to give people the full truth about the world. And I'm very fed up with the truth movement too in general. People are not Christians, but are truthers who just go at it becomes boring. It's very boring to me to see people call themselves truthers and they have YouTube channels pretending to give people the truth that they need to know about the conspiracies of the Satanic New World Order. But they will not touch gang stalking, the topic of government gang stalking with a 10-foot pole. They will not touch government gang stalking of targeted individuals with a 10-foot pole, which tells you something. Not even James Corbett won't talk about that. James Corbett is supposed to be the one of the best truthers on YouTube, and he does have a lot of good information. And I do have some of his videos saved playlists on my channel because he does have some good work, topical on certain issues, certain topics. But he neglects to talk about government gang stalking. He leaves that out. He doesn't talk about government gang stalking. He won't touch that. Hello, Josh Rubio. Welcome to my live stream. I was just getting ready to start playing Charles Lawson's sermon called Lord Remember Me, and he gives a false gospel, which I don't like, which is another thing I don't like. I don't like people giving a false gospel. And Charles Lawson, who's got a big church. Hello, Jason, brother Jason. Welcome to my live stream. Yeah, I was just watching on his YouTube channel, getting ready to start playing the video. It's a 20-minute video, and I think maybe I'll play the whole video. Maybe not. Maybe I just, when he starts talking about the sinner's prayer, I'll focus in on that. We'll see what we'll do. But I watched this the other day. Pastor Charles Lawson. I hate a false gospel too. The Bill ABC TV wrote he hates a false gospel, and I hate a false gospel too. Because it keeps people sad. It keeps people lost. And the reason I'm smiling is because somebody wrote something in the chat, and like in all caps, sometimes something will shock you, but they don't have a comedic effect. I'm not saying the word is funny, but if you're writing, suddenly somebody writes something in all caps, it becomes funny. Anyway, yeah. So he gets on his pulpit there, behind his podium, and starts talking to his flock, and he gives a false gospel. And what I don't like is it's bizarre. Like some people give a sinner's prayer, but they will include some things in the sinner's prayer message that somebody could get saved if they neglect to say the prayer and they believe what the person tells them to pray. So you have heretics out there giving a false gospel message, telling people if you want to get saved, say this in this prayer, and then what they will say for the person to pray. If the person neglects to pray it and believes it, they will get saved. Now that's bad. I'm not saying that's good, but it's less bad than somebody giving something that's not even the gospel content as in this prayer. Like some people say, if you want to get saved, say this prayer: Jesus saved me, and you're saved. Now, even if somebody believes that, like believes what they say to pray, like Jesus saves me, well, I believe that Jesus saves me, you're not going to get saved. Some people give a sinner's prayer, and they will say, pray to God and tell him, Lord, I believe that you died for my sins on the cross. You lived a perfect, sinless, clean life, that you're the Son of God, God in the flesh. I believe that you lived a perfect, sinless life. I believe that you're God, Jesus Christ. I believe that you died for my sins, you was buried, and you rose again from the dead the third day. And I'm putting my trust in that. And they will be saved if they believe that instead of praying. So there will be gospel content in a lot of sinners' prayer, heretics, gospel presentations. You will find gospel content, or they will repackage it as a prayer instead of something to believe in. Charles Lawson, he came up with something even worse than that, because his latest heresy is giving people this in his prayer: Lord, remember me. So he's standing up and he's telling people, like, a lot of people will ask me, pastor, preacher, what type of sinner's prayer do I need to say to get saved? And it's like, well, Lord, remember me. That's enough. So that's a sinner's prayer he gives to people in his gospel presentation. He's telling people to pray, Lord, remember me, because that's what the thief on the cross said. Now, seeing is believing. The reason the guy on the cross, the thief on the cross, got saved is because he witnessed the work of Jesus Christ. He had an understanding there. He saw Jesus Christ dying for his sin, and he saw with his own eyes Jesus Christ shedding his blood on the cross. He saw him being punished for his sins, on the cross. He was witnessing that. This verse is about being blessed for believing without seeing. Now, he saw, so he didn't need to have faith. Faith is the substance. Now, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. I'm quoting from Hebrews, which tells you that faith is believing in something that you can't see. I can believe that the sun is going to rise this morning, even though it's 23:40 in Sweden right now, dark outside. I can believe in something I'm not seeing. I can have faith that, well, within 8 hours, I'm going to see the sun rising and light coming in through the glass here, without seeing it. So that's faith. But the thief on the cross, he saw something. He saw it. So he doesn't have to believe in something. He doesn't have to wait. Like today, you have to read the gospel accounts about Jesus being nailed to a cross and Jesus being like bleeding for the sins of the world. Part of him being punished was him bleeding. If you drive nails through a man's hands, you're going to have blood. He didn't have to do that. Hello, Josh Reveal. Yeah, I know, Josh. I do the opposite. Josh writes, exactly. You tell the world what they want to hear, and you become famous on YouTube. Then writes, when I said you, I didn't mean you specifically, brother. I meant those who tell lies. Yeah, I know. You can use the word you in general. I do the opposite of my channel. I got what it takes to. I could have a huge YouTube channel if I compromise on the truth, just based on my looks, my genius level IQ, my competence in different areas, my body, what I look like. If I like play the game and try to be popular on YouTube, I could become a huge person on YouTube. It's just people that are dumber than me, less articulate than me, uglier than me, worse shaped than me, lower IQ, lower knowledge, lower value as a person who have huge YouTube channels. So why wouldn't I be able to have a huge YouTube channel if I wanted to? It wouldn't be hard. But I won't sacrifice my authenticity for approval. I won't compromise on the truth to get popular. So a lot of things I upload on my YouTube channel, I know that this is going to make me less popular. I'm going to lose subs when I upload this video. I'm going to get a lot of unlikes. People are not going to like this video, but I still upload it because I know it's true and I know that people need to know this truth. So you're not going to get popular giving the truth to people. You will be hated for the truth. And you have to decide for yourself what's more important to you. Fear of being disliked by people because you hurt your ego by giving the truth. Or, what do you care most about? Do you care most about being liked by people or giving people the truth? You have to make a decision yourself. And I choose to give people the truth, even if people don't like it. Like politics, for example. People don't like to have the golden calf idolatry of trusting in man politics. They don't like it when people criticize that. Having trust in princes, in man, in whom there is no help. Roy Rodriguez writes, "Woo, let's talk. Gang talking. How about a gang talking summary? Remind us your take or a spill." I don't know. It's unclear what you're saying. It's better if you write your sentences a little bit more clear so I can more easily see what you're saying. I'm going to go with this. He asked for a gang stalking. I'm going to read what he said as if he said, how about a gang stalking summary? Remind us your take. Okay, I'll give you a short summary of what gang stalking is. The government has a secret program which is called government gang stalking for target individuals, where people get put on a list and become a target, what's called a target individual, and then the government does a lot of bad things to them. They work to make their life a living hell, pretty much. And it's online and it's offline harassment. That's the baseline. It's harassment. You get harassed. If I go outside as a target individual, I get followed around. by what total individuals call perps. Basically, anybody who's working for the program gets called a perp. That's what total individuals call people who participate in the program called perps. And there's different levels of targeting. Some people get only the stalking and the noise harassment, which means they work with the neighbors to bang on your walls and make noises that spying in your house through electronics. So they know when you're trying to sleep, they know when you're stressed out, they know when you're in a bad mood. They will synchronize your noise harassment to when the worst possible time. They will go, oh, now would be a good time to hit them with a noise campaign. They will start making noises that are supposed to stress you out. And it's a program that's designed to destroy a person's life. And it's a slow kill program. I won't say slow kill because I'm particular with my words. Slow murder program. Kill is a justified killing. Kill is if somebody breaks into your house and you in self-defense kill them. Or if somebody attacks with a weapon and you kill them before they can kill you, that's killing somebody. It's a justified taking of another man's life. Murder is when you kill somebody. Murder is when you take somebody's life and you don't have the right to. So it's a slow murder program. Government gangs of a slow murder program. And people don't want to believe it, just like people don't want to believe that politics are rigged, just like they don't want to believe that the medical industry is not something you should trust in. People want to believe lies. And I think part of the reason why people don't wake up is because it's scary for them. It's scary for people to accept their whole worldview being turned upside down. And it's also an ego thing, because they will take admitting to themselves that they've been duped their whole life into trusting the medical system, into trusting politics, into, it's an ego thing. People don't want to admit that they've been believing lies their whole life. That's hard for the ego. That's really hard for the ego. So yeah, I'll go to the video. We're going to cover here.
Have your Bible, turn with me now to the book of Luke. Luke chapter number 23. He's not after you to overtake you and take you away. If God is against you, you don't stand it. And it cannot be manifest in a more simple way and a powerful standards. God put the man that the apostle thief, one thief who cried out for help. One thief, an immediate answer. Now, God may wait a while to answer some of your prayers. You can pray, talk to the Lord, seek His face about certain things. It may take Him a while to answer. I'll tell you something. When you get serious with God, He's immediately serious with you. Say, preacher, what kind of sinner's prayer should a person say to get right with God? I mean, what?
Preacher, what type of sinner's prayer should a sinner say to get right with God? So he's making a scenario here where somebody's asking him as a preacher, hey, Charles Lawson, what type of sinner's prayer should I say? So it's a false premise, first of all, because you don't pray to get saved. You don't get saved by saying a sinner's prayer. So it's a false premise. It will be like asking somebody, hey, fireman, what type of gasoline should I use to put out this fire? It's a false premise question. What type of poison should I eat to get better health?
I answered, I'll tell you something.
What type of gun should I shoot myself in the head with to live longer, to stay alive? It's a false premise question.
God, He's immediately serious with you.
Preacher, what type of sinner's prayer should I say to get right with God? None. No sinner's prayer. That's the right answer. If he was an honest, truthful man, he would tell you, no, none. There's no sinner's prayer you say to get right with God. How you get right with God is you believe the gospel. You believe Romans 3:23 to 28. 1 Corinthians 15, 3 to 4. Acts 16, 30 to 31. You believe that and you're saved. Or you could just say, read the first 3 chapters of Romans and you believe it and you're saved. Martin Richardson calls the first 3 chapters of Romans God's gospel tract, and I agree with him on that. It's God's gospel tract. You can print out, if you don't want to sit down and make a gospel tract and compile different verses and write commentary and explain it to the unbeliever, you can just print out the first 3 chapters of Romans in the King James Bible, 3 A4s. If you want to use a big font, you can put 3 A4s. One A4 being the first chapter of Romans, the second being the second chapter of Romans, the third being the third chapter of Romans. You can fold them up and you can write, if you don't want to go to hell, but go to heaven when you die, read and believe these chapters. You can hand that out as a gospel tract. But it's not a sinner's prayer.
Say, preacher, what kind of sinner's prayer should a person say?
No sinner's prayer. You should say no sinner's prayer to get saved. You should believe the gospel to get saved. Ephesians 2:8-9. For by grace are you saved through faith, and that not of yourselves. It is the gift of God, not of works, lest any man should boast. A work is something you do, and you can boast about it. A prayer is a work. If you get saved by a sinner's prayer, you could say, I said a sinner's prayer and I got saved. Why did you get saved? Because I said a sinner's prayer.
To get right with God. I mean, what? Remember me?
Remember me. This is so bizarre.
That's all he said.
It's like La La Land. This is so bizarre.
Well,
remember me. That's his answer. So he's creating a scenario here where somebody walks up to him as a pastor and addresses him as a preacher. What type of sinner's prayer should a person say to get right with God? And then his answer is, remember me. That's the way of salvation that he gives to people. Remember me. He's telling people all they need to do to get saved is to pray to God and say, God or Jesus Christ, remember me. And he's saying that gets a person saved. Saying those words in prayer to God will get a person saved. That's what he's saying.
Remember me.
Remember me.
That's all he said.
That's all he said. Yeah, but you know what? He was also witnessing the finished work of Christ. He was also witnessing, not the finished, he was witnessing the work of Christ taking place. And he saw things that people today have to read in the gospel accounts about this happened, they put him up on the cross, this happened. He was witnessing that with his own eyes. So he didn't need to put faith in that because he was seeing it. If you see something, you don't have to believe it. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So faith is something you can't see, but you're believing it, and it's as real to you as if you had witnessed it with your own eyes. He didn't need to believe that somebody named Jesus Christ got nailed to the cross because he was witnessing it.
Well, I mean, that's okay, but there's more than that. Not really. He's looking at the Savior. There's only one Savior. Remember me. And that did it. The Jews had what's called a mikveh. If you go to the Temple Mount, you'll find that the steps are still there that lead to the top of the mount, 2,000 years old, the steps. I've walked up them a number of times. At the base of the steps, the archaeologists have found what's called mikvahs. What's a mikvah? A mikvah is a Jewish ritual cleansing site. Remember now, it's a ritual. The Jews went through the mikvah.
Yeah, so I don't have to go any longer. Just this video alone, what he's been saying here, he's been proven to be a false gospel giving, damnable heretic giving a false gospel, because he tells people to get saved. All you need to do is to say a sinner's prayer, and the sinner's prayer content, the content of the sinner's prayer that he gives is, Lord, remember me. He's saying that's all the lost person has to do today to get saved. Say a sinner's prayer. Okay, Charles, what type of sinner's prayer? What do I put in the sinner's prayer? Remember me. And Stephen Anderson, who's another damnable heretic giving a false gospel, giving sinner's prayers with salvation, he will also give a sinner's prayer. But it's a little bit less evil, because in his sinner, well, it's not a little bit less evil. there's a little bit more of a chance that somebody could get saved dealing with Steven Anderson. Steven Anderson going around knocking doors trying to get people saved. There's a little bit higher chance that somebody might get saved despite his sinless prayer than if they listen to this guy. Because Steven Anderson will include actual gospel content in his gospel presentation, where he will tell people to pray and believe. Or he will say, pray this, and he will list off things that if you believe what he lists off, you will get saved. Like Jesus Christ was God in the flesh, lived a clean, sinless, perfect life, died for your sins on the cross, was buried, rose again from dead the third day. Trust in that and trust in him. Only he will give it as pray and tell God that you believe this. So he will make the gospel content that could save somebody still there. If somebody thinks, well, actually, I'm just going to believe what he's telling me to pray instead of actually praying it, they could get saved. This is a worse in this prayer because there's no gospel content there. It's just, Lord, remember me when you go into your kingdom. Which is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Through a ceremonial cleansing. Lord left first. He's already gone. 6 hours is all he hung there. He left first. You need to go out there and say, you know what they're singing over there at Temple Baptist Church? They're singing thing when you think.
So this Baptist church is giving us in this prayer, and it's just getting more and more, like all heretics do. They're getting more and more over time heretical.
This man could know more about him now than you did when you were saying. Standards.
You're not saved by praying. And I will give the real way to be saved. For all have sinned and come short of the glory of God, being justified freely by his grace through the redemption that is in Christ Jesus, whom God hath set forth to be a propitiation through faith in his blood, to declare his righteousness for the remission of sins that are past, to the forbearance of God, to declare, I say at this time, his righteousness, that he might be just, and the justifier of him which believeth in Jesus. Where is boasting then? It is excluded. By what law? Of works? Nay, but by the law of faith. Therefore we conclude that man is justified by faith throughout the deeds of the law. If you believe all of this, if you understand and believe all of these verses, you will be saved. You're saved by faith in the blood atonement. So, I think that would be it. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's some kind of Freemason connection to a lot of these Baptist churches. They got their hand in every pie. I know a lot of churches do gang stalking. A lot of targeted individuals report if they go to church, they would be gang stalked and harassed in the church. This Christian pastors doing targeting. All right, I will finish this recording now.